I'm sure a lot of you guys are joining us here for our open house. Quick show of hands, if you don't mind, if you can just type in the little question box there. How many of you are involved in our free open house right now, our free access open house? You can just say yes or me or whatever it may be. Open houser, great, great. Well, I hope it's going very well for you, and I hope you're learning a lot. I'm sure that there's a sense of being overwhelmed as well. There's a lot of information that is coming at you out there. A lot of training courses, a lot of stuff going on in Elite Room, and you just have to take it one thing at a time. Um, something you've heard me talk a lot about, not only in the training courses but in other webinars, is take it one step at a time. Don't try to watch every other single webinar and video there is on the Apex website, and don't worry about trying to go through and read every single article and forum post, because you just got to learn it all. All you've got to learn right now is the power plays. That's where you've got to start and focus, okay? And now that you guys have had a couple of weeks to do that, we're going to start adding on a little bit for you here, okay? We really needed you to get the basics and get you through the course, get you in the room, get you, through some ups and downs and through some stumbles, and start to get a handle on things. And what we're going to do now is, we're going to really start adding on here for you quite a bit. Any of you guys that were in the Elite Room today, just a couple of quick updates here. Any of you guys that were in the Elite Room Friday or today have seen that the OP charts, the order print charts, are now in the Elite Room. Okay, so that is a great thing. We started off with the 6, 6, 7, 20, the continuum charts in there to help you see the chop. Okay, and because that was really important, that was something that a lot of people had a little trouble with, is like, I'm having trouble seeing chop on these diagnostic bars. I see what you're saying in the videos, and I understand the bar timer. And so I feel like the chop charts were really helpful for you guys, like the first week or two, while you were learning to read chop and really see it. And then we noticed, there wasn't a whole lot of people using them after a week or two, because I think after seeing them for a week or two, it kind of made sense in the video I did in the training course, but then being able to watch it day to day, see those charts, I think you started to catch on to it where you didn't need them quite as much. And I felt that, and Lori felt as well, that, okay, now we need to make sure that they have the complete order print charts in the room as well. Yeah, you can go set up NinjaTrader and get it all yourself, but we put the order print charts in the room. That way you could really start to watch those order print charts, because we're actually going to start doing a lot more training about order prints. And we're going to, later this week, do a webinar about trailing stops. The other thing is, all right, hey, my first couple weeks, I've finally gotten down these entries, right? But now, what do I do? What do I do? Like, when do I get out? How do I trail my stop? What do I do? So again, just start part of that stepping stone, okay? So now we're going to really, over the next couple weeks, really start to dig into order prints, and we're going to dig into trailing stops and how to use order prints for those trailing stops to really take it to the next step and the next level of reading the market. Like, I've heard a lot of you say, and this is a valid question, right? A lot of you say, okay, hey, this is all great, John, and great little videos here, woohoo. And, I love these little charts y'all like to show us here at Apex of, okay, hey, the great trade, and I got in right here, and then I got out up here. Or, I love seeing Lori's, 80 ticks, one and done, where she knew, she got in. And I understand now why she got in. Okay, I see all these entries. I understand the entries. Some of these screenshots are starting to make sense to me of, okay, I understand why she got in right here, but you're telling me she got out right here, just right before the market went down. Or I understand why she got in right here after, this little chop and this sling with the cluster, but she got out right here, right before the market went up, and she gave back all her profit. Yeah, right, sure she did. Nice little sales pitch there, right? You all right? You want to call a little bit of BS on that, don't you? We've all done that. I've been on webinars, people show me trading systems of, well, if you got in here and then you just got out right here, you would have made this much. Well, how did you know to get out there? Like, not looking back, but live, how did you know to get out there? Because, yeah, Walter just said it. Hindsight's 20/20, right? It's easy for any of us to pull up a chart and go to the left side of a chart, right? And scroll back and say, okay, well, if I was in this trade going up and, I got out right in here before I gave up all this profit with the market and come back down. Okay, well, that sounds good. But how did you know to do that? Because that means nothing to me looking back to the left side of the chart, right? Well, hey, you're in this great trade all the way up and you got out right in here somewhere before it kept going and you gave up profit. Yeah, right. How'd you know to do that? Looking back is easy, but doing it live is what matters, right? And I can sit here and show you great charts marked up all day long, but that doesn't mean anything to you if you cannot do the same thing, right? Like, it doesn't mean anything to you if you can't know live while you're trading it when to tighten your stop, when to get out, when the market might reverse, or why we think it will reverse, or how are these guys, these leaders in the room, doing that? How are they seeing that? Okay, and that's what we want to teach you. Okay, because these charts are real, these charts are legit, and there are ways to know that. Okay, and some of you guys are familiar with that. You understand levels and what can happen at levels. You understand, VAD divergences, and okay, I need to tighten up my stop. But a lot of it's levels, a lot of it's VAD divergences, but a lot of it is order prints, okay? Because you can see what's going on, all right? And if you guys remember, we touched on this a little bit. If you remember in some of the training courses, okay, I want to just remind you real quick of one particular video in the training course where I covered some of this and gave you a few of the basics, okay? Do y'all remember this video right here? Order print clusters. Do you remember in that clusters training, I talked to you about when you see other clusters? I talked to you about after those big runs, divergent bars, remember? And we talked about, okay, you're in this big run down, you get another cluster, you get a divergent colored bar, you're at a level, what do you think I'm doing right here? Oh yeah, I'm tightening my stop. Do y'all remember that? Do y'all remember that part of that video? Okay, and that's what we're using. That's what we're doing, and that's what we're going to spend a good amount of time on over the next couple of weeks, really digging into to help you guys know when to tighten up your stops, okay? Because if you're going to let a trade run, it's going to be running. You want to let your profits run, right? You want to get as much as you can out of that trend, but you don't want it to come back so far against you before you get out, right? You don't want to be up $500, and then by the time it comes away against you, you're only up 200. You know what I mean? And you want to be able to spot when those things are happening, when you need to tighten up those stops. And we're going to be covering that. And speaking of, I want to draw your attention here. If you go to the homepage of the Apex website, this just got updated a little while ago, and we're going to do a lot more to it. But right here under the weekly webinar calendar, I know I always tell you to go to this, but I want you to look at it real quick. Let's talk about the rest of this week, okay? Today we're doing 5 additional trades to your power play chart. Tomorrow we're doing 4 new powerful entries all on one chart. By the way, these are not the same trades. These are technically different trades, okay? Thursday, I know a lot of you guys are excited about this. I kind of, let the secret out a little bit on email and quickly on a webinar the other day about the mentorship program that we're going to be offering. And a lot of you guys got very excited about that. We're going to cover that a little bit on Thursday. It's going to be more of an overview and how we came up with it, some of the success we've had already with the smaller groups of mentorship. And we'll be going over it over the Thursday, and then we'll be going over it a little more over the next week or two and showing you exactly how you can get in, what you got to do, and so on. But that's going to be just super powerful, and I know a lot of you guys have been super excited about it. Friday will be our first video on trailing stops with the ultimate power play. Okay. Joe says, will these webinars be recorded? I'm at work during the webinar. Sometimes I get pulled away. Yes, Joe, all of our webinars will be recorded. This one right here, right now, is being recorded. Every single one of these will be recorded. And just so you know, right up here, Joe and everybody, where it says webinars and it says open house webinars. Any webinar or extra training or anything that happens during this open house period is all going right here. And we list them exactly. Webinar on this date, what was the name of it? Webinar on this date, what was the name of it? And it's set up in a course style. But it's not like the courses you took in the beginning where you have to watch this one and answer questions before it unlocks this one. No, you can go straight to any of them you want. Okay? They're just set up in a course style because I know you're familiar with that. Okay? But also, you want the honest truth? It's set up for one, because you're familiar with this. For two, I can actually pull your name up in our back system and I can see which courses you've taken or not and which videos you've ever taken or not. So, just to let you know, little hint here, when it comes to some of our mentorship program stuff, we're going to kind of be looking at who has gone through and watched some stuff, who is putting in the effort. We're willing with the mentorship programs to put the efforts into you if you're willing to put the efforts into you as well. Okay? So anyway, we'll talk about that again though. But Joe, that's where all that is there. Okay? Chip says, will the trailing stop webinar cover Nadex scanner tips? Chip, those particular webinars will not cover Nadex specifically, but we are also going to do, let me show you here, not all of them are on here yet, but we're also going to do some Nadex spread webinars and Nadex binary webinars next week on, for those of you that are Nadex binary traders, for example. We have a section in the training about, how to trade Nadex binaries with power plays. Well, I'm going to be doing a separate extra webinars on some advanced training with binaries. And I'm actually going to show you another extra way to trade binaries with power plays, okay, of using in the money binaries. I'm going to show you some binary tips and tricks. We're going to add on some binary trades there for you. Also going to do the same with spreads. Do some more advanced training on trading spreads with power plays. We'll get in a little bit to some of the scanner stuff, Chip, as well as stop log and trailing stop stuff. Okay, because we actually have a trailing stop feature for Nadex spreads or binaries. We'll be talking a little bit about choosing the right spread. I know some of you are still asking about that of, hey, you say to use the end of the day, near the market spreads, but some of them, the proximity is really high, and how do I trade these? We're going to be doing some webinars on all of that. Okay, so we've kind of been building here, guys, and it takes a little bit of time for you to get through stage one and really get the basics down. Now I'm just going to be coming at you like crazy overload. Okay, if I had done this from day one and made you learn all of this and made you go through all these courses, it had just been too much. So I want to show you something else here. So that is this week, right? Okay. Walter says, John, did you say there is a stop loss on spreads Yes. You mean, do we have a way for you to put a stop order in for spreads? Is that what you're asking, Walter? You cannot do it on the Nadex platform, but we actually have a function in our stop plug system that allows you to do that and to trail. Okay. John, did you say there's a stop? I'm not quite sure of your question there, Walter, of what you mean by, John, did you say there's a stop loss on spreads? Yeah, yes. If you're using the proper spread, you definitely want to have a trailing stop and a stop loss. If I'm not understanding your question, maybe rephrase it for me, Walter. I'm not quite sure there. So that is this coming week here. As you know, we're coming up to a holiday weekend. Monday's Labor Day. The markets and Nadex and Apex will be closed, or most of the markets. Some of the worldwide Forex markets will be open. But I am going to do a webinar on Monday, Labor Day. So we've got a 3-day weekend, but I'm going to do a webinar for you on Monday. So right here, if you go to the calendar and say next month, because that's September, check this out. See all these webinars here? And within the next 2 hours, I'm going to finish off my list, and I'm adding about 6 more webinars to this calendar. You guys are just going to get slammed. Okay? Monday, Labor Day. Check this one out. Apex webinar. Release of the all-new Apex Oscillation Detector Indicator. Monday, we're going to give you a brand new indicator, one that you've not seen, one that's not on the chart, one that's not even in your toolkit. It's called the Oscillation Detector Indicator, and it's just a little bit different way of measuring some volumes within trends. Measures it a little bit differently than VAD does, gives you a little bit different picture on some things, and you're going to love it. Okay, it's something that Lori and I have been testing and been playing with for months now, since I think, what do we say, Lori, last November or December, I believe, that you and I started with that. And we've got one of the leader groups that are working with it now as well. And we're going to release that to you Monday. Brand new indicator. It's super helpful for really reading and digging into the markets. It's super helpful for helping to see some of the power play setups, the 1, 2, and 3 in particular. And in particular 1 and 2, but 3 as well. Audio alerts on it, great way to see double tops and double bottoms, and really help you spot some of these power play trades. And then there's also a couple other potential trade setups on its own with oscillator and order prints. So we're going to release something brand new to you on Monday. Then on Tuesday, I'm doing a webinar about transitioning from demo trading to live trading. You've heard us talk a lot about how the market's seasonal, right? And these couple weeks before Labor Day can be very slow. They can actually be like the second slowest weeks of the year in trading, besides the week between Christmas and New Year's. And I kept telling you, there's kind of a purpose and a plan behind this, and behind some of the timing of open house. And some of you looked at it as a negative, like, oh man, during open house, like, why did you give us this open house free access in like a slow time of the year? Like, come on. Well, because after Labor Day, boom, things kick off. So if you can take that time to learn it and master it and get it down, demo trade it, work out the kinks now, and be ready to rock and roll, it's the perfect timing. So keep that in mind. Remember that. All right, this week there might be a few slow days. All right, but even some of the slow days last week, all you had to do was go into the forum, and like you just saw, there's trade after trade after trade. All right, there's tons of good setups. There's tons of good moves out there, and they're just going to get better next week. Okay, I mean, you've seen these in the room. You've seen them in here in 62 ticks and 25 ticks and 45 ticks. Queen Lori and her 80 ticks and 64. They're all over the place. Get these down, learn them, master them, and get ready for next week. And I know I've talked to a lot of you that really wanted to take these first couple of weeks of open house to learn and demo trade, and then use the second, half of open house after Labor Day to transition to live and start making some live money, and have made tons of live money in the last week or two of open house, not only for yourself, but to easily pay for the Apex membership after the free access is over. And that way you can get in and get grandfathered in before the prices go up on the 18th and all that. And that's what we want you to do. We want you to take advantage of the free open house. We want you to be able to make enough money to cover your membership to where that's basically free for you, and keep using the stuff. So we're going to release to you a brand new indicator Monday. Tuesday, we're going to do transitioning from demo to live trading. Wednesday, order prints advanced training part 1. Okay. Thursday, I'm doing a basic Nadex webinar, and then we'll be doing advanced training on the oscillation detector. So I'm releasing the oscillation detector to you Monday. A couple days later, we're going to do a little bit of advanced training on it, cover any misconceptions and questions, make sure you really know how to use it. Okay. Friday, we're going to do advanced training 2 on order prints. And we're going to talk again about kind of the second step of the mentor program, and the final week of open house, which will be coming up the week after, and how to make the most of it, what to do. We'll talk about how to make enough money in one day to cover your membership. We'll do advanced training number 3 on order prints. We'll do a wrap up. We've got another webinar, Nadex webinar on Thursday. I'm going to do a sneak peek for you on the 14th at some of the upcoming new Apex system releases that are in the works. Okay. Again, talk about some of the mentorship, get that kicked off, get you guys the sign up sheet and moving forward on that. We're going to have a release of the VAD 2.0 trade setups after that. We got a bunch of stuff coming, guys, and there's about 6 or 7 webinars that are missing from here that I'll have on here later today after this webinar. Some of those binary trainings and spread trainings and a few others. Okay, so guys, it's going to be packed full. So for you guys that are particularly interested in, Nadex binaries and spreads, I've got a ton of those webinars coming out. For those of you that are mainly here in open house, just to really learn order prints for your own system. Okay. Alan, this is an intro, and I'll be getting to that if you'd like to wait for that. Otherwise, you can not be on the webinar and you can watch the recording. Okay. I'm giving an update of what's going on, and then we'll get into the 4 new power entries. Okay. So we've got a lot going on, guys. Okay. There was audio the whole time, Alan. That was on your end. Everybody had audio from the beginning. Okay. So, all right, guys. So that's what we've got going. A lot coming at you. For those of you that are here in open house to mainly learn how to use order prints, for your own systems and stuff like that. You're going to really want to be on these advanced trainings. Okay. So we've got a lot of those coming up. So anyway, guys, that's just a quick overview of what's going on. Make sure to be on with us. Hop onto this webinar calendar here, get in there and click on the links and get registered for these webinars. And like I said, give me a couple hours and you'll have 6 or 7 more that are on here as well. Okay. And then Monday, Labor Day, we'll be getting that new release out to you. So, okay, guys, you heard me talk a lot about, with the power plays, these are the, the power setups, the setups that we are looking for the market to move and to move big, and we're taking the best of the best. And, I've talked to you about it, and Daryl's talked about it in some of his webinars, about overcoming that need to trade all day and press buttons all day and feel busy. Okay, quote unquote, feel busy. Busy does not mean a profitable trader. Feelings do not mean a profitable trader. What should matter to you is learning to be a profitable trader. not the desire to fulfill some need, and that is taking the best of the best. All right, and that's what the power plays are. But some of you have asked for a few more trades between the power play setups, and there are extra trades during the power play setups, and I'm going to cover some of those with you today. Some of you are familiar with it if you go here to the forum, okay, and you go down here to the C's section. All right, as you know, the ultimate power play is part of the C's system, and like we told you, the power plays are the very best. All right, they're the ones to learn first and to get them mastered. All right, but there are other setups. Okay, remember in the power play training we talked about secondary entries, and that you could go through afterwards and learn some of these other entries on the C system. Okay, and what we're going to do today is just kind of a quick jet tour through the C system and through some of these other entries and what they are. Okay, because they can be added on to the same or very similar template of the existing one you have for power plays. So between these power play trades, okay, you can add on some of these other trades. Now tomorrow, we're going to go over what we call some powerful trades, which are like the power slings and power elevators. Now notice in C's, we have regular slings and elevators. Well, I'm going to review those today. Tomorrow, we're going to talk to you about what are power slings and elevators, where these are basic sling and elevator trades you can take. We're going to show you what are the power slings and elevators, okay, which give you a little bit better entry or a little bit potential of maybe a bigger move, okay. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about the power P's, the power X plays. So a little bit different than what I'm going to show you today. And in a sense, I might be doing them out of order, meaning power plays are your best ones. The powerful plays that we're going to show you tomorrow, powerful setups, are probably the second best ones. And then the basic C's entries, I would say, would be the third. But it helps to have a good understanding of what some of these other C's entries are to be able to understand better what I'm going to teach you tomorrow. Okay, so I'm going to show you 4 or 5 additional trades today, and then tomorrow I'm going to show you 4 more that you can add on. So for some of you who said, I want more trades, I need more trade, we're giving them to you. They're here. They've been here, okay? And we're going to show them to you. But again, if you had to go through the training and you had to learn the 4 power play trades, then you had to learn 5 or 6 other C's trades, and you had to learn 4 powerful setups, and I had to teach you 14 or 15 trade setups to get through the training course, you'd have been pretty darn overwhelmed, right? You've been like, oh, forget it. That's too much, okay? So we taught you the 4 power plays, the most important ones, the powerful ones. I'm going to review C's with you today, and then tomorrow we're going to give you some more, and then Monday we're going to give you a brand new indicator. Okay, so yes, John, S10 is the same as C's course under Elite Sets. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so if you're in the forum under S10, you see C's. You've got the ultimate power play here. But for the general C's, you've got slings, elevators, touchbacks, and so on. They're all right here. But if you're on the home page of the website, you go right here to Start Elite Education. And just for example, if you go under this first tab here, you've got ultimate power plays and order prints, but other courses, bam, right here, C's training course. There is a full step-by-step training course on the C's system. Slingshots, elevators, touchbacks, 3rd bar, 4th bar MVP. There's a full step-by-step training course on all the different setups of C's. Okay? So not only do you have the forum post, the written out text, the screenshots with notes, but you've also got step-by-step videos, just like you've all been through already for power play. All right? So what I'm going to do today is just kind of go through the forum posts with you here. Okay? And I just want to do kind of a jet tour here of some of these other trades. So let's jump right in, and then you can on your own go back in and go through these one at a time. And just like I recommend with everything else, I'm not telling you that you need to go learn all 5 or 6 of them before you start trading any of them. Okay, go through and watch them, see which ones you like, see which ones you pick up on the quickest. Start adding that one on. All right, okay, I've got that. Now I can add another one on. Okay, because it's on the same charts, guys. And then you'll see tomorrow the powerful plays, the powerful setups we teach you can be done. Those 4 trades can all be done on the power play template as well. Okay, so for those of you who are like, I need more trades, again, remember, it's the second slowest time of the year right now. Learn and master this. For 2, you don't need to be pressing buttons all day. You need to wait for the right trade setups. But for 3, we're giving them to you. They're here. You've got plenty, plenty more than you need and can handle. So let's jump in. Let's talk about slings. Sling setups and rules. What is a sling? Well, it's a slingshot. All right, we call it a slingshot trade. Sling or slingshot. A basic slings happens when a trend catcher potential cyan arrow. Okay, what is that? Well, there's an additional indicator. Okay, if you have your basic, let's see here. If you've got your power play template, okay, it looks like this. You're all familiar with it, right? Okay. There's also a C's template. It's just when you go into Ninja and you're looking for templates, okay, it's called C's diagnostic bar. Where is it? C's diagnostic bar. Okay. It's a very similar template, but it doesn't have you know, some of the order print aspects on it. It doesn't have the stars and the, you know, mini magnets or the clusters or anything like that. Okay, but it does have an indicator called the trend catcher. Okay, and you can go through and read a little more about that, and you can add it straight on to your existing power play template if you want. Okay, and we'll talk about that a little bit here in just a second. But what is a sling in general? Okay, I just want to cover this in general. Well, you know, we've talked a lot about chop, and we've talked about bars that have wicks on them, right? Well, what is this? All right, you see here how the market came up, and you see here how the market came down. You see this bar right here, it's got a wick on it, right? That means the market was coming down, and then this bar pulled back and made a wick. And then what did it do? Then it came and it closed down and it shot down. Okay? We all know that markets rarely trend straight down or straight up without any pullbacks, right? There's almost always some type of pullback. Whether we see that in a couple of bars retracing, then it coming down, or whether we see that in a wick bar. Okay, so what is a sling trade, or what is a slingshot trade in general, as we call it? Okay, well, right there. The market's coming down, and then what does it do? What do you do when you shoot a bow and arrow, or when you shoot a slingshot? You do what? You pull it back, right? Right here, the market's pulling back, you know, hitting some support or resistance, gaining some, you know, volume there, and then it's shooting forward. That's what you do with a slingshot, right? You pull it back, get some resistance, and let it go, and shoot forward. That makes sense? That's what a sling trade is. That's what a slingshot trade is those bars with the wicks that meet the requirements with these arrows here, and you can see more about that in the video, and it shoots on down. Okay? And basically what we're looking for here is not just any random wick. Okay? See this wick on this reversal bar? That's not a slingshot. That's not a sling trade. That's a reversal. Okay? What we're looking for is that the market has had more than 3 bars in one direction and then 3 bars in a direction in order to qualify it. Okay, you want 3 bars the other direction before the market comes the other direction. So that way we're not getting caught in chop too, right? 1 down bar, 1 up bar, 1 down bar, and so on. Okay, and so notice it's not every single bar with a wick. Okay, it's a bar that has these cyan arrows with a wick. Okay, now tomorrow you're going to learn about some power slings. okay, that have a little bit different rules. So keep that in mind as you go through this C's section here about slings. Okay, let's look at a couple other examples here. Because I know some of you say, hey, I hear people in the elite room talking about slings, and what is that? Okay, well, let's talk a little bit more about it. Or you might have seen the abbreviation of TBS, which is third bar sling. Okay, and this happens when the third bar after a reversal has a wick of at least 3 ticks. Well, what is a third bar sling? Well, right here, the market has come down, and then it makes a reversal. And that third reversal bar has a pullback, has a sling, and then what happens? The market takes off. So we call a third bar sling. See, here's the first bar, here's the second bar, here's the third bar. Okay? Now, notice here, here's another one. We got 1 bar, 2 bar, 3 bars. Oh, there's a sling. No, this is not a third bar sling because there was only an elevator before the 3 bars. Well, what does that mean? Well, we're going to talk about elevators in a minute. But remember what I said, there needs to be at least 3 bars going the opposite way before the new 3 bars that set up the third bar sling, right? That makes sense? So right here, was there 3 bars going the opposing way? Were there 3 down closed bars? No, there was only 1. Does that make sense? So this 1, 2, oh, third up closed bar, that's a third bar sling. No, it's not. Because there had to have been at least 3 down closed bars before you can consider this third up closed bar as a third bar sling. Does that make sense? Yeah, Walter, yeah, we would have wanted 3 this way. Okay? Right? Well, and the thing is, Marion, a lot of times you won't have one on a third bar sling. Okay? You won't have one on a third bar sling. Okay, so we've got slings in general. Okay, let's back up real quick here. So we've got regular slings. Okay, which are those wick bars. Okay, that have the cyan arrows from the trend catcher. Okay, which basically means they pulled back enough to create this cyan arrow saying, hey, potentially the market's going to reverse and go up, but it doesn't. It actually comes back down. Those are general slings that could happen anywhere in the trend. Okay. Oh, okay, I'm with you, Marion. Yeah. Those are general slings that could happen anywhere in the trend. Okay. And you can go through and, read more about them here, and you can see screenshots of them all over. On a third bar sling does not require that trend catcher cyan arrow. Okay. But a third bar sling, a couple of you said, hey, do that again. A third bar sling is the third bar that is a sling after a reversal happened. That means there has to be 3 or more bars closing in the opposite direction before there is a reversal and bars 1, 2, and finally the third bar sling happen. So right here, the market comes up, and then right here, the market comes down, right? And we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had 6 bars down, right? Then the market starts to come up. You see that, David? And you got 1 bar, 2 bars, and third bar has a sling. Market takes off. Okay, so on these up closed bars, we had 1 up closed bar, 2 up closed bars, 3 up closed bars. On that third up closed bar, there was a pullback sling, and the market took off. Okay. Now, what about up here? We have 1 up closed bar, 2 up closed bars, third up closed bar has a sling. That is not considered a third bar sling because there was only 1 bar opposing. And what do we say? There's got to be at least 3 opposing bars. So if we had this down closed bar, another down closed bar, another down closed bar, then this bar, and this bar, that would have qualified. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah, and because all that is an elevator there. That's just a 1 bar down, This is an uptrend, right? And in that uptrend, we had one bar closed down, and then the next bar closed up. That's what we call an elevator. We'll talk about those in a second. Okay, so so we have regular slings, and then we have third bar slings. Okay, so, but again, for the third bar slings, you got to have at least 3 bars the opposite direction. Okay, I think we've got a couple more examples here. Let's take a look here. Let's pull this one up real quick here. Okay, all right. So right here, this third bar down, 1, 2, 3. This third bar produces a sling, but no cyan arrow. Okay, not only is this a valid third bar sling, but a very high rate of profit. Okay, the third bar slings will not have those cyan arrows. Okay, the third bar slings won't have them. Now, once again, is this a third bar sling? Because look, it's 1, 2, third bar down has a sling. Look, third bar sling. No, it's not. Why? Because there was only one opposing bar, right? If there had been 1 up close, 2 up close, 3 up close, and then the third one down had that, it would qualify, right? Okay, does that make sense? Okay, gotcha. Yep, because again, that's just an elevator. All right, so, when you're thinking about it real quick here, and again, I'm not diving into each and every, this is not a training course. This is me just doing a jet tour of them, and you can go back through each one of these form sections and the training course videos. I just want to give you a brief overview of them, but how often are we looking at a chart and we've got an uptrend here, right? And we've got these pullbacks, right? We've got these what we call slings, okay, that can give us extra trades within that trend to get some extra entries, some extra scalps, right? So just pull up any of your trades and you'll see them all day long, right? The market very rarely ever moves just straight up or straight down. You see these downtrend, you see those bars pulling back and closing down, right? Okay, you'll see them. Yes, Phyllis, yes. That third bar sling is just an extra one to give you on when there's not a cyan, and when it's a third bar sling, we've seen that those are very powerful. I mean, I just randomly pulled up this chart and was scrolling. What do all of y'all see right in front of you? I just pulled up this chart and was scrolling to try to just show you examples. What do you see right there? How many down close bars do we have right here? More than 3, right? And then what do we have right here on up close? 1 bar, 2 bar, third bar sling. What happens? Boom. Quick note here. Something else that's extremely powerful about a third bar sling is just in general, a third bar sling is very powerful. But it's very, very powerful when that third bar sling pulls back and touches, what did it touch and bounce off of? Anyone? A major level. Exactly. You see it? Boom. Third bar sling that touched back to the tick, to the deviation level. And then what does it do? Boom. Takes off. And for those of you that are new with us and only even taking the power play course, what do we know about levels of importance? They're huge, right? They're huge. And there's another perfect example of it right there. Levels of importance take a big part of power play and of C's in general. I mean, what was happening here? Well, the market was coming down to this level, tried to break through it, tried to push down and couldn't, right? Pulled up here, okay? Went up a little further, it's like, no, we want to go back. No, couldn't do it, rejected, pulled back, and boom, shot off, right? Okay? So, and then what do you see in the middle of this other trend as well? Do we have some sling pullbacks here that if they qualified could have been taken to get in, to get some extra ticks out of it as well? Okay, what about in this downtrend here? Do we see some bars with wicks and slings that if they qualified could have been taken? I mean, let's just scroll back a little bit here. This down move here, do you see a couple slings in there? Yeah. I mean, look at them. They're all over the place. This up move here, do you see some slings in there that if they qualified could have given you some more? Okay. What about this move down here? Look at that big pullback. And then when that thing pulled back, man, it's like a real pullback. When that thing comes and closes, boom. You see that? So if you think about these, okay, you see how they're just all over the place. Okay. Michael says, what if the third opposing bar is not a sling? Will it the third opposing bar? Not quite sure of your question there, Michael. For it to be a third bar sling, we're looking for the direction the market's going in. So right here was the third up close bar that pulled back and made a sling. Okay, we're not necessarily looking for any of these three opposing ones to be a sling as well. That's not a requirement. Okay. All right. In the last example, it was the fourth bar that pulled back, so that count. Well, Natasha, that's not a third bar sling then. That's just a regular sling. Okay. The third bar slings we've found are very powerful, and they don't require the once you watch the videos, you'll understand what these other arrows are. The third bar slings don't require the qualifying arrows. Okay. The regular slings that might be a fourth bar or eighth bar or 10th bar do require them. Okay. Does that make sense? That's the difference. Okay. Yeah, Josh, does the size of the sling matter? Yes, Josh, and that's really what these arrows are about. With the trend catcher indicator is that those arrows, like, let me find one. Well, here, it's right here on the screenshot. These only happen when it's pulled back enough and made a big enough wick to cause that arrow to happen. Like, see right here, this is a heads up saying an up close bar. I mean, hey, the market's pulled up so much, the market might be going the opposite way. Get ready, heads up. Oh, no, it came back. So that wick pulled up enough to create this potential cyan arrow, which is like a heads up alert in trend catcher saying, hey, there might be a reversal in the market here. But nope, it came and closed on down. Boom. Okay. Now, in general though, and you'll learn a little more about this tomorrow, do you have to use these cyan arrows to do slings? You necessarily don't have to, but you want that wick to be, like a 1 or 2 tick wick is not enough. You want it to be like 3 or 4 ticks of a wick. Okay, you want it to be like 30% of the bar, say. Does that make sense? Not just a little bump up. Like, you want it to be a good size wick because you want there to be a good pullback there. Think about it like this, guys. If you're going to shoot a slingshot and you put a rock in the slingshot and you just pull it back an inch or two and let it go, how far is that rock going to go? Or if you put an arrow on a bow and you just pull it back an inch or two and let it go, is it going to go real far? Or is it kind of going to just go a little bit and fall? Right? But when you put that arrow on that, bow, or you put that rock in that slingshot and you pull it way back and you've got some good resistance and you let it go, it can fly. Does that make sense, guys? Like, just that analogy there? Okay? Like, put it this way. Do you think, you see that little bitty wick right there? Can everybody see that? Do you think we're looking for that little bitty wick? Or are we looking for this wick? Makes sense, right? Okay. So that's my point. Like, there's some rules, and you can kind of see the rules when you go through the step-by-step videos, but just that analogy right there gives you the concept. Yeah? Okay. So that's slings, guys, and that's third bar slings. Okay? And you can also look for third bar slings coming out of chop. See that? We're going to talk to you about some of those trades as well. Okay? Here's another great example of the third bar sling. Great move, and also they're very, very powerful when that pullback is to what? A level. You see it? You see it? They're just great. Okay? So take a look at some of those. Okay? Go through that. That is a sling. All right? And you're going to understand a little bit more as you go through each of these sections and watch some videos. It'll also make a lot more sense tomorrow when I teach you about power slings. You've heard of some of those. You've seen them in the room. We're talking about power slings, okay? Where, you know, we're looking at levels and we're looking at order prints and we're looking at mini magnets, making those slings even more powerful, okay? Now, let's just pull back over this chart real quick. Remember what we talked about is, hey, seeing this big trend? You know, what do we see? Well, we see a pullback sling there. And we see some pullback slings here. What do we also notice right here? That's more than just a pullback, isn't it? That's more than just a pullback wick. That's up close bars, the market pulling back. And it didn't just pull back a little bit to make a little wick or a good amount to make a big wick. It pulled all the way back to make a down close bar, right? And even come down a little further and then go back up. Everybody see that? But in general, it's the same concept, right? So a sling is a big wick pullback and then taking off. Okay? You see that? But here they pulled back far enough to create a down close reversal bar. Okay? Rob says, would you call that coil chop? No, Rob, I would not call that coil chop. Okay? Because coil chop has to be consecutive. Down close, up close, down close, up close. That's coil chop right there. See the difference? See the difference there, Rob, of consecutive? Down close, up close, down close, up close. That's coil chop. Okay? Now, I don't have order prints and everything else on here to compare, but what's happening right here on VAD? Where do you see VAD start to exceed? Right here, right? Do you have a nice chop breakout trade there? If there was a cluster? Yeah. And real quick quiz question. What number of a power play setup is the chop breakout? Ivan got it. Power play number 4. There you go. There's a great example of it right there in there. Okay. Now, oh shucks, I was busy doing something else and I missed that trade. What do I have on the breakout? 1, 2, 3 bars later. Sling. Ah. Huh. See that? Remember, we talked a little bit about that in the training, about the secondary entries. Do you remember that? About secondary entries? Okay. That is a little bit smaller of a wick. Yes. But where is it pulling back to? Where is it pulling right back to? What level? to break out the chop box. Yeah, see that? Okay, so we're going to be talking some more about these, but we talked about those secondary entries. And remember, it even said, what was one of the secondary entries? Slings. So guys, real quick clarification here. When it comes to C's, you can trade these extra C's entries, but you can only trade them in the direction of the power play. Meaning, let's say you missed this power play and you want to trade a sling trade. You can only trade the sling, you only trade the C's trades after a power play in the direction of the power play. Does that make sense? Until a new power play changes the direction of the trend. Did I confuse anybody in what I just said there? Because this is vital. I can go through all these little C's things with you, but if you missed that one part, it changes everything. Does that make sense? You can trade these extra C's trades after a power play setup in the direction of the power play setups until a new power play changes the direction of the market. Does that make sense? Let's do something real quick here, because I might repeat myself 10 times here. Some of you may get tired of it, but I'm going to do it because this is important. Okay. We all are familiar with Ultimate Power Play training course, right? You've probably seen this screenshot 10 million times. The #1 power play setup, right? Market comes up, goes a little higher on what? Less volume. This bar closes. We enter 1 to 3 ticks below it to go south, right? To sell, correct? What do you get just a couple bars after that entry? You get a sling. And not only a sling, but a sling right off a level for a secondary scalp entry. Right? Everybody with me? Everybody agree? Everybody see that? Anybody lost? Okay. Let's say that these bars here started to close up. 1, 2, 3. And we had a third bar sling right here to go north. Would we take that? Because we haven't, because what is the last power play telling us direction-wise? South, right? Okay, well, that may not be a great example there on a third bar sling, but let's say that like this fourth bar was a sling, okay? We don't want to take that yet, right? Because the last power play direction was down. So we're only taking additional C's entries in the direction of the power play until a new power play sets up. Does that make sense? Okay. Let me see if I can just find another quick example. I think you guys understand where I'm going with this, but I just want to make sure. All right, what about here on the #4 power play setup? We've all seen. Break out a chop. So what are we doing? We're going up, right? We're buying, correct? Well, right here you got 1 down close bar, 2 down close bars. What if there was another down close bar, say with a wick, and it was a sling? Or even if there was a 4th down close bar with a sling, would we take that going down? No, because our power play direction is still long until a new power play happens to go the other way. Okay? Yeah, it's like follow the trend. The last power play tells you the trend, and that direction of the trend is the only direction you can take the additional C's entries on until a new power play. Okay, what do you see right here? In this screenshot, we're focused on this power play setup. Does anybody see another power play setup in this screenshot over to the left-hand side that we didn't even mark? Chip gets the gold star. Power play number 2. We've got a high. Market comes down. It pulls back up on what? Much higher VAD volume. But even on much higher VAD volume, it couldn't get as high. We're at a level, and let's say there was a cluster there, right? If there was a cluster, right? Okay. Keith, there's a full training course video on the power plays. There's 4 different power plays, okay? So this would have been a power play number 2 to go what? South, right? To sell, okay? And so the only additional C's trades that we'll take all the way down here is going to be any setups that keep telling us to go and sell, right? Everybody see that? Then we get down here and what happens? Okay, new power play setup direction going up. Make sense? Okay, so we're only taking power plays in the direction of C's. So real quick, back over here. So we understand what a sling is, okay? But we also see in these big trends, sometimes we'll see this. Not only just a pullback, but a pullback far enough to make a down closed bar, then to go back up. Kind of like what? We're riding the elevator up to the 10th floor, elevator comes down to the 9th floor, then we go back up. So guess what we call these trades right here, or these setups right here? An elevator. We've got slings, which pulls back just enough to make a wick. But we've got elevators, which pull back even further to make a down close bar. Then they keep going back up. It's the same concept. It's just a pullback in that trend. Okay? And how many times do you see that when a market's moving up or down? Down, 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 down. Up, elevator, come back down. Up, up, up. Elevator, keep on going. Elevator, keep on going. So how many times have you seen a breakout in a power play trade, right? Down, 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 1 bar up, 1 bar down, elevator, keep on going. How many times have you seen a big power play trade and you missed that initial entry and you're like, oh man, it's just going and going and going and going. Oh man. Well, how many times when it's going and going and going is there a bar up, bar down, elevator, keep going with it? Or how many times when it's going is there a sling pullback and it keeps going? You see them all the time, right? Right? Down, down, pull back, keep going. Up, up, pull back, keep going. You see them all the time, especially after the power play setups, right? Down, 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 pull up, elevator, go up to another floor, come back down to that other floor and keep going. You guys see these? I mean, am I losing anybody? Or am I the only one that sees this or sees what I'm talking about? Right? In a powerful setup and the market's trending down and you got some of these pullbacks, okay? Or it's going up and you've got a pullback bar and up and it keeps going. Like, okay, so do you see how this gives you extra trade? And I'm not cherry picking screenshots. I'm just scrolling back and we see them, right? Up, up, up trend. Okay, pull back and keep going up for an extra scalp here. Sometimes you'll even have 2 bar elevators and then they come back up and they break that high. They break that swing level. So these power play setups are great, right? They're the best setups you can get. But between those powerful setups, some of you guys are wanting more trades, right? Do you see now how just the existing C's system alone gives you those more trades right on the same type of chart? Okay, I mean, they're everywhere, right? Markets are coming down, you got to pull back. Coming down, got to pull back. Sling, keep going, right? Market's coming up, elevator keeps going up. Okay, yeah, it's just a pullback, Chip. Now, I do prefer for it to break the swing level there. Okay, and we're going to talk about some of those tomorrow with some of the power slings and power elevators. Okay, the power slings and power elevators I'm going to teach you tomorrow are a lot more powerful than these regular sling or elevator trades. But these are still great trades, and you need to understand the basics before you can understand the powerful ones. And does that mean when I say they're more powerful, I mean that these are not good trades? No, these are great trades. It's just when you combine some of these, just as a random example, you see this move down here, and you've got this one with a big wick, right? And it's got a big wick. Well, I don't have order prints turned on here. You're probably feeling pretty good about that big wick, and you're like, great, I can get, 20, 25 points out of that. Great. But you're going to probably feel even better about that when there's a cluster in there bouncing right off a level and a mini magnet on that bar, right? Yeah. Okay, and that's the kind of stuff we're going to talk about, is get you a basic understanding of slings and a basic understanding of elevators, okay? And then we're going to add to it tomorrow. Okay, like right here. You see the market moving up, okay? And you get a down close bar here with a cluster. And then this up close bar here leaves a mini magnet down here and closes up. When we add in order prints and some of these other aspects, these become a little more powerful, right? Power sling, power elevator. We're going to talk about those tomorrow. Okay. Let's see here. So I think we already understand what elevators are, but you can go here and you can see it, right? Got to have at least 3 bars in a direction before you have the opposing bar and back down. You don't want 1 bar and then an up close bar and a down one. That's not an elevator, that's chop. Does that make sense? You want at least 3 bars in a direction before you have a pullback, and then the bar continues. Does that make sense? Okay, you want those 3 bars direction. You don't want, oh, well, I had 2 bars this way and then 2 bars this way, so that was now we're going back up. That was an elevator. That's chop. Come on, right? Does that make sense? You want at least 3 bars. You want a few bars in that direction to confirm, hey, that's the direction. Then we got to pull back and we go. Okay, if we have an up close bar here, an up close bar here, then a down close bar, and then an up, you're chopping, right? Okay, so those are elevators. Really easy to understand. Okay, so again, you can go through these forum posts and go through the step-by-step courses and videos. Touchbacks. Touchbacks are fantabulous. You don't get them all over. You don't get them all day. And they're a little bit different type of trade. We talked about touchbacks a little bit like the example I showed you on the 3rd bar sling. Check this out. The market is coming which way? Is there any question right here, the trend direction of the market? Is market trending up or trending down? Down. Okay. Notice this strong level. Okay. See that strong level. Okay. I want to find a bad example first. Or I want to show you an example of what's not. Well, hold on. There might be one right here. Do you notice how these bars that are coming through this level? See it? See this bar and this bar and this bar and this bar? Let me make this bigger. As they're coming through this deviation level, do you see any hesitation in these bars? Do you see any slings or wicks in these bars as they come through this level? Do you see an elevator in any of these bars? Or do you see a clean, crisp, non-resistant move through that level? Right. It's going smooth. And it breaks through this level. And then after a bar break, after, like, you see the air pocket between the top of this bar and the level? That makes sense by air pocket? Like, see, the top of this bar was touching it, right? Then you've got a full closed bar down, air pocket. What happens on this bar? It pulls back up. So you see a clean break push through, and it's like, hold on, let's go back up and touch that level. And it touches right back to that level. And then what does it do? Comes on down. Does that make sense? Does everybody see that? Okay, can everybody see what I'm talking about? It breaks through a level without any hesitation, and after a completed bar with an air pocket between the bar and the level, it comes back up to touch that level. So let's just imagine for a moment that we're watching a market and we see that happen. We see the market clearly trending, clearly breaks through a level with no resistance, makes a completed bar, and then slows down and starts to come back up. What could we say to ourselves? Hey, this could be one of those touchback things that John was talking about, and could be one of those touchback things that's mentioned in C's, right? What if you saw this chart right here? Wow, market's coming down, 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 right here at this 0.5 deviation level. Do we see a clear, crisp, non-resistant move through that level, or do we see resistance and wicks? Here, 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 here. Do you see a difference in this chart right here? Do you see a difference going through this level, breaking through this level there compared to here? Clear difference, guys, right? Not real hard to distinguish, correct? So we're watching a chart, market's clearly trending, clearly breaks a good level, no resistance. You see a break there, and you see this pulling back up. You can expect a potential what? Touchback. So if you saw that happening, and you see the market getting right up close here to the level, and you put in an order, this is one of the very few trades that Apex has where we don't wait for a bar to close and put our order below it. What if we put our order right here, one tick below the level? That makes sense? Because with this setup, what are we expecting? We're expecting it to come back, touch that level, and come on down. So I've got my order right here, one tick below the level. And then where's my stop? The stop is 4 ticks above the level. right up here. How big of a stop loss do I have on this order? 5 ticks. Does everybody get that? My order is placed 1 tick below the level. My stop is placed 4 ticks above the level. I've got a 5 tick stop. 5 ticks. That's a really low stop, isn't it? Even on NQ or something, $5 a tick, it's $25 risk. But I got in right here. So just this first bar coming down to here gives me like 6 or 7 ticks. Then the actual bar of 10 ticks. So I've already got like 15 ticks of profit in the first bar. And then 20, and then 25, and then 30, and then wherever I get out off of a 5 tick risk. Do you guys get that? Do you guys see that? Do I need to go over that again? A 5 tick risk and getting 15 ticks just off the first closed bar, much less however many bars I take it down. That's pretty cool, right? Yeah, and you just follow your stop along the way. You can trail it down along the way, whether you want it at the high of the previous bar or whatever you want. Or some people just get out at the first bar, risking 5 ticks to get 15, but I'm going for 20 or 30 or 30, you know, you can get a good, nice move out of those. And you're just risking 5 ticks. So you're watching your power play chart, and between power play setups, you want some extra trades, and you see that trade happen right there. And by the way, what probably was right here? Who asked me earlier about coil chop? Who was it that asked? I'm sorry, I don't remember. Rob, right? Yeah, Rob. Rob, what's this? Up, down, up, down. That's probably a, yeah, Chip, that was probably a power play number 4 setup. Right? Okay, I'm in that trade, or I'm not in that trade, or whatever. I'm waiting for the next power play trade. And what do I see in the middle of it while I'm waiting? Oh, we shot right through a level and pulled back. I'm going to pop a quick 5 tick risk trade in there and get 20, 25, 30 ticks out of it while I'm waiting on my next power play setup. Pretty cool little trade, huh? Touchback? Yeah. I like those a lot. I mean, who doesn't like a 5 tick risk for potential 15, 20, 30 ticks while you're waiting for the next power play setup? Remember, guys, you see how powerful the power plays are. All these other things I'm showing you are between the power plays. Okay? All right. Eugene, it's all based on the size of the bar. Actually, I'm wrong. This is a 12 tick bar. So there's even more profit in there than what I said. You're at 18 ticks profit. Shoot, you're almost at 20 ticks profit just on the first bar. Okay. Yep, everything's all in the training. Remember, all of you that have been through the power play training courses where I go step-by-step videos through each and every little setup and each and everything, there's a complete course about all this. I'm just jet touring through it here just to give you an idea of what C's is so that you can decide for yourself if you want to take the time to go watch the videos as opposed to making you go through and watch it. That way you kind of know what to expect. Do I want to take the time to watch it? Do I want to add on these extra trades? What are these extra trades? Do they catch my attention or not? Do I want or need extra trades? I'm just kind of showing you that there are extras. So you've already got the power play system and training course. Now I'm showing you these extra trades, and then tomorrow we're going to give you 4 more. And then Monday give you a whole new indicator. So, you know what I mean? Okay. Chris, we don't use the touchbacks for Nadex except for scalping binaries. Okay. We use a lot of these other setups for Nadex, but you know, how do you do that 1 tick below? Well, it's just whenever the market gets there, okay, you place your order on Nadex. Okay. I mean, if you're watching, you know, if you're watching this setup happen right here, and you see that the market blew through that level and is starting to come back up, when you see, you know, the price get there, that's when you're selling Nadex, whether you're using, you know, binaries or spreads. I mean, you can do spreads on these, but you just have to, you can do spreads on these, but you just have to make sure you're using the near the money spread, the near the market spread, not the bigger, not the ones with the bigger premium. Okay, and we'll talk some more about that. But you know, this is, I mean, futures traders, Forex traders, you can scalp binaries off of this, you can scalp spreads off of it. Okay, but basically when it gets there, you're just entering your order on Nadex. Okay. Let's use the power version instead of more for Nadex. Probably so, Chip. Yeah, I would say so. Okay, let's see here. So, touchbacks. Okay, very cool. What's next? I don't want to keep you on and on here. I mean, y'all can go through all these, but I just want you to kind of see what they are. 3rd or 4th bar MVP trades. All right. So real quick, what is that? Very simple. Okay. What is the MVP? Well, the MVP is, okay, like if you look at this chart right here, it's these triangles, right? These red directional triangles, you know, the red here, or they're green right here. It's just one of our indicators, one of our apex indicators. Okay. So the MVP, notice, is a little bit longer term trend. It doesn't switch right at the first down close bar or first or second. It takes certain, you know, algorithm. It's an algorithm calculation. It takes certain things to happen for it to switch. It's not a fast moving, fast switching directional indicator. Okay. Notice right here, the market's coming down. You got an up close bar, close, up close, and here it switched. Okay, cool. So just another random trade here. All right, it's called the 4th bar MVP trade. Okay, and if you right here, what you've got is, what's the setup? Well, on bar 1, okay, like right here, the first down close bar, the cyan trend catcher arrow appears, the cyan colored one saying down. Bar 2, the confirmation trend catcher arrow right here appears showing down. And bar 3 or 4, the MVP arrow appears on bar 3 or 4. Okay. And notice right here, let's take a look. So we've got bar 1, bar 2, bar 3, and then right here you can kind of see that red. See right here was still green MVP arrow. And right here it was too, but right here it appeared 4. And we take it down. That's just kind of a conglomeration of multiple things happening. On the first bar, we've got the cyan arrow. On the second one, we've got that. And on the 3rd or 4th, we've got the MVP. So the MVP switches on the 3rd or 4th bar along with those other things. And we take a short. Okay? And that can be, again, between power plays, right? As the market's coming up and down. Okay, like right here on bar 1, we've got cyan arrow. Bar 2, we've got the green arrow. And then 3 and 4, boom, we've got the MVP switching over, and we're taking it long. Okay, it's just when sometimes the MVP won't flip till like bar 6 or 7. But when it flips on bar 3 or 4 in conjunction with you know, the cyan and the trend catcher and so on. It's just some additional trades here and there. Okay, just to add a little bit of an extra pop in there for you. Okay, one more here, Apex E's. Okay, some of you are like, well, what is this Apex E thing all about? Well, it's Apex, A-P-E-X, right? Okay, so what is, let me just show some of y'all real quick here. Okay, I'm not going to get real long into it, but I'm going to just go right here, chart. I'm just going to get a new chart real quick, just to give you a quick rundown of it, but it's all in the course here. But I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to do indicators and Apex Elite Pattern version 2. Hit OK. All right. See all these letters on this chart? All these weirdo letters, right? Some of them are what? Red. What do you think red means? What direction does red probably implicate? Down. What do you think green means? Up. And what do these letters spell? A, P, E, X. Apex. Woohoo, right? Okay, so just real quick overview, the apex pattern. A is kind of like alert. P is pivot. E is potential entry. And X is completed. What does that mean? Well, I'm not going to get you all wrapped up in this, but in a nutshell, in this downtrend, A is alert. This is the lowest point of this downtrend so far, correct? Does that make sense? Low, low, low. See, this low had an A, right? Does that make sense? So alert, hey, this is the lowest down point. We have an up close bar, so alert. Market comes up, does its pullback, right? See, market comes down, pulls back, comes down, pulls back, comes down, pulls up, comes down, pulls up. So alert is pulling back up. Pivot, it made a down close bar. E is potential entry, 3 ticks below to keep going. What do we know what happens when the market is trending? Does it go shoot straight down? Or like we've already seen, there's little pullbacks, right? Okay. That's the apex pattern, is to help recognize those lowest point, pullback, pivot, go on down. Lowest point, pullback, pivot, go on down. Okay? Very basic explanation of the apex pattern. Make sense? And so on those E's, we're looking for entries 3 ticks above the E with everything else setting up just right. Okay? In a nutshell, does everybody get that? Right? A, P, E. The X is when the market has gone past the level of the A. Okay? So just in a nutshell. So what are some ways to trade that? Well, scalping with the apex pattern E's. All right? When a red E appears, set an entry 3 ticks below the close of the E bar and scalp for 10 to 30 ticks or trail it. A green E appears, set an entry 3 ticks above the close of the E bar. Okay? Now, do you want to just take every single one? No, you don't. Okay? No, E does not mean exist or exit. Okay? It means potential entry. Okay? So you don't want to just take every little E with no confirmation. All right? You want to make sure there are at least 2 bars between the A and the P. What do we mean by that? Well, and we get into this more in the video training, but see, here's an A on this bar, P on this bar, E on the, that's too bunchy. That's too bunchy. You don't want that. You want there to be some room between the A and the P. What do I mean by that? At least 2 bars. Look at this. Does this make more sense? A, and then you've got bar, 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 bar. Then you've got a P and an E, right? No, E means entry, not exit. Oh, no, X just means complete. X does not mean exit. It just means that, remember right here, this is the alert, pivot, entry. X just means the market has, the apex has completed, and the market has broke the level of the A bar. Okay, like if the market came to right here and then kept on going, there would never be an X there. Okay, so how about waiting to see if it's an elevator bar? Well, because the market came down right here and then comes up, and then you're waiting for the E bar to complete and finish, and your entry is 3 ticks above the E. Okay, does that make sense, Dennis? So yeah, you're not just getting in right here on the E bar, because yeah, what if it was an elevator? But you're getting it 3 ticks above the E bar. And obviously, we're going this direction because it's a green apex, right? If it was a red apex, we'd be going the other way. Okay, but does that make sense how we want some bars between the A and the P? Does that make sense? As opposed to, you know, like this example here, all bunchy. We don't want that. Okay? We don't want that. It's almost like what we've talked about with elevators and slings. We want the market coming up and then making a pullback and then going up. We don't want just 1 or 2 little bars and then going up sometimes with this particular pattern. Okay? We want that good pullback. That makes sense? Okay? So now, the other thing is thinking about some of these in conjunction. Can any of you tell me that I don't have VAD on this chart? Can anyone tell me what probably also was taking place in this trade setup right here? Pop quiz. APE. Can anyone tell me probably what was happening right here? Maybe a cluster. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm probably going to, Ivan got it again. Gold star. Brian, you're right. Maybe a cluster, something on order prints, really helping me confirm that. But notice market's coming up, pulls down. Market's coming up, pulls down. Market comes up, had a bigger pullback, but it didn't break the low. There's probably a number 3 hidden divergence trade right there as well that I'm looking at on power play. That's also coordinating with an A, P, and potential E setup. I'm feeling better about that E trade, and I'm feeling better about that HD trade, seeing that they align with these other apex systems and these other apex setups, right? You see how that gives me a little more confidence in all of the trades, not only the HD power play trade, but also the E trade. Like if I wanted to take that, or if I missed that first little entry on HD, but you see how they kind of align there? Make sense? Okay. So now, notice here, if you want to only take the best of the best, you want to take only the trades that have the MVP triangles the same color as the apex letters. Okay? So, notice on this example I just showed you here. It's hard to see it, but let me pull it up. There was actually red MVPs right here. The green MVP didn't hit till right here. So if I only want to take the best of these E scalps, I'm not going to take the bunchy ones. I'm going to take the ones that have at least 2 bars between the A and the P. And I'm only going to take the ones that have the matching green MVPs. Okay? Does that make sense? But these rules were set up before power play. So if I have a number 3 set up with HD, I might still go ahead and take that one. Does that make sense? But I'm not just taking every single E. Do you follow me here? Do not throw these pattern on here and take every E. You only want to take the E's that come after a several bars between an A and a P, or have, like, some type of VAD divergence or hidden divergence setting it up, or where the MVPs are the same color. Okay, David, you're asking a question there. You see these green MVPs right here, David? These triangles? And then look, they flip to red right here. See that? They don't flip till green, back to green till right here. So the entry on a green E is not lining up with the green MVP. A few of you are like, oh, I didn't know that part. I'm just taking these random E's. No wonder I'm getting hit. Exactly, because we only want the best of the best. Let's look at another example. Okay, let's take a look at this one. This is an E that has what? What color triangles? Red triangles. See that? Okay. Now what happens up here when this flips to red and red? And you take a red E that's got green triangles. Doesn't look like you shoot on down there, does it? You look like you get into some chop and it might keep on going. Does that make sense? You're not taking every E. You're taking the good ones that line up with the MVP, or that line up with hidden divergence, or some VAD divergence, right? Make sense? Okay. What about when you've got that E? Here's another example here. E that lines up with the red MVPs also has what on that same exact bar? What also appears on that same exact bar? Trend catcher confirmation down arrow. Kind of like triple confluence. Does that make sense? So again, I hope you can see Apex is not about press buttons. Let's just go. Let's just press buttons. Let's just take every bar that goes this way. Let's just take every little sling. Let's just take every little E. No. Just like with power plays, we got to have what? Levels. Got to have what? Chop. Got to have what? The VAD rules. And you got to have order print clusters. You want the best of the best to line up. And then take it. Same over here. Don't just take every, we love our Apex pattern. But I'm sitting here telling you, if all you did was ever take every single E and never look at nothing else, you're going to lose money. I don't know what companies will tell you, hey, if you just take our indicator and trade it every time, you're going to lose money. Okay, nobody tells you that. Well, I'm telling you that because I'm being honest. It's not designed just to go with every little quick little market. It's designed to do it right when everything lines up. Does that make sense? The best of the best. Now, let me throw something else at you. What if you were looking at this chart and you're seeing PE, boom, APE. Do we like this one? A on one bar, P on the next bar, E on the, no, that's bunchy. We don't like that. Well, what do we have here? A, and then several bars, P, E. We like that, right? A, several bars, P, E. Great. A, and then the next one would have been P, and this would be, we don't like that, too bunchy. Sticking to that rule, what does that keep us out of? A little bit. When they're bunchy, chop. Right? Yeah. So, let's look at something. Let's think about this. And I want to open up your mind here to this, because if you go with this webinar and you leave this webinar thinking, oh my gosh, John just showed me like this holy grail. All I got to do is put these letters on this chart and just go on these E's. I'm not going to learn any of this other stuff. I'm not going to look at levels. I'm not going to look at VAT. I'm not going to look at order prints. I'm just going to be the E queen and the E king. Wow, this is great. You're not going to be happy. You want to do it right. And can you see why? Like, does it make sense why you only want to take these certain ones that follow those rules? So let me ask you a quick question here. So which ones do we like here? We like this one, right? Because we got room from the A. We like this. We don't like this because it's too close, A, P, and E, right? But we like this one, right? We like that one. And we like that. Oop. And we like this one. Correct? Now, so we like those because of the room between the A and the P. Yes? Everybody understand that? What if we had MVP added to this chart and we had red MVP? We would like that even better, correct? Everybody agree? Okay. And if we also had that trend catcher, and on these E entries we had the trend catcher down arrows, would we like that even better? Yeah. What if we had this random thing called cluster on this bar, or a cluster on this bar or this bar, or a cluster on this bar or this bar? How much would we like that? Okay. Any of you guys know what a mini magnet is? Have you watched order prints? Have you been looking at charts for a mini magnet? You know what those are? The lines that are left at the top of wick bars, right? That have numbers on both sides. We know that the market normally does what? Pushes off of mini magnets. Correct? And then later on can go back to them, right? Yeah. What if that E bar had double bolts on it? Do we remember what double bolts are on order prints? Right? Or the momentum star for acceleration. Remember that? Do you see where I'm going with this? I think Brian, you might want to sit down, man. You're having a heart attack. Brian's like jumping up and down over here. But do we get it? It's just confluence. It's everything lining up. Right? What if on this chart right here, I had the apex P, and right here I had an E? And I've got double bolts, and I've got momentum star here, and this is my E bar. Actually, in fact, hold on. I want to say strategies, put it all together right here. I believe I go through here and I want to say I show all kind of stuff off of Apex Ease even too. I thought I had some in here. I show a bunch of different examples. Okay, right here, there it is. You can't really see it. See the E there? A, P. We have bars between the A and the P, right? And then we've got E. See it? Okay. So, what do we have? Let me find it again. I just lost it. E. What do we have on that E bar? Leading volume, momentum star. What did we have on the P bar right before it? Bolts. We got all kind of stuff. What if we had a cluster there? What if we had a mini magnet on this bar there? Are we feeling a lot better about that? Yeah, a lot. Boom. Right? Okay. Some other entries we'll talk about in a few weeks, using multiple variations of VAD, different settings of VAD. We'll talk about that. What about just in general? We're going to talk about this over the next couple weeks. What about just in general? Let's just forget this. Let's just do a blank chart. Let's just in general, I'm looking at the market, and I'm looking at a trending market. The market's coming down, 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 pulls up. This bar closes down, and there's not a mini magnet. There's nothing real special on order prints there. All right. Market pulls back up. This bar closes down, and order prints has a mini magnet and a cluster. Maybe I'm going to take that down. Pulls back up. Mini magnets, bolts, right? What do we know happens when the market's trending? Does it go straight up or straight down without hesitation, or does it hesitate? It comes down, it pulls up. It comes down, it pulls up. It comes down, it pulls up. Comes down, pulls up. Okay? The market could trend for a minute. It could trend all day or for days. But when we see that the market has made what? Lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low, lower, right? And lower high, lower high, lower high. It's trending down. We don't need to be a genius to figure that out, right? So when it's making lower lows, pulls back up, and we're reading OP on these bars, do we want to take it down? When it's pulling back up, ooh, nothing on OP there. Let's not take it. Glad we didn't, because it pulls right back up. And oh, then we got a mini magnet and a cluster and stars and bolts. Where are we going to go? Down. Okay? But we're not just taking something because it's a lower low or higher low, or because there's an E. We don't just take something because there's an E or because there's an arrow. We want it all to line up. Okay? Guys, I realize I almost kept y'all in this webinar for 2 hours now. Sorry. Okay? But you got me going here. Okay? But do you see the power of what I'm showing you? I've gone over and over with you the power of the power plays. Like, you get the power of the power plays. But some of you feel like, I need a few more trades. I think I've just shown you more than enough extra trades to keep you busy between power plays, right? And then tomorrow we're going to give you 4 new variations. And then Monday, I'm going to give you a brand new indicator that's going to help identify potentially some others. I don't want to hear any of you tell me there's not enough trades. Got it? And you know what? If you want more trades, just open another chart. Watch another chart. Have you gone to the Elite Room and see how many charts are in the Elite Room that we provide for you? That all you got to do is scroll over one way and look? You don't need any more trades. You've got plenty. You only need, Rob just said it, you only need one good trade a day and do multiple contracts and you're done. With Lori's little one and done for 80 ticks and one, that's all she's doing. She's waiting for the good one and she's going in with a couple and she's out. But between power play and C's and the powerful setups I'm going to show you tomorrow, if any one of you tells me you need more trades, I don't know what to tell you. Watch more than one market then, right? Watch an indice, watch a commodity, and watch a Forex pair. Maybe indices are not moving that day, but maybe Forex is. Maybe Forex isn't moving that day, but maybe oil is. Guys, I don't even know what else to say. We've shown you how powerful the power plays are. I've showed you all these extra little entries. Third bar sling, right there. Elevators, slings, right? Apex E's. You got plenty of trades. And I'm going to give you more tomorrow. Okay? So, for those of you that have been wanting more to do, I understand it's been a little bit of a slower time in the markets. That's about to change. Okay? But you have plenty of trades. Okay? I'm going to give you more tomorrow. Thursday, we're going to talk about mentor programs. Friday, we're going to jump into trailing stops. Once again, go to the Apex website. Okay? Couple questions. A couple of you guys said, all these webinars, where are they? Go to webinars, go to open house webinars, and they're all in here. This webinar will be posted right here as well. Give me about 2 hours, and I'll have this webinar up. Also, give me 2 hours to go right here to the webinar recordings. Or, I'm sorry, to the webinar schedule. This is August. You see what we've got the next 4 days of August, or next few days. Go to September. I've already got it pretty full. I'm going to be running webinars literally every day. Some days, 2 webinars. You see it's jam-packed full, and I'm going to add 5 or 6 more. We're going to jump into trailing stops on Friday. We're going to jump into order prints. Some of that cool stuff I was just showing you there in order prints about what was on this bar and leading volume and this and that. We're going to really dig in. Okay? We're really going to dig in. You know, and Chip just said, hey, having the cluster alerts on for various markets makes it easy to watch multiple markets. Guys, I don't know how to say it more clear than he just said it. Like, throw your alerts on, get NinjaTrader on your, it'll take you 30 minutes to watch my training course to get NinjaTrader fully set up on your own computer. You can have every chart you want, every market you want, back test, and you have audio alerts. You have audio alerts on clusters, on acceleration, on, you know what, guys? You know what I didn't show you? Because some of you may not be familiar. Now, let me show you over here. Some of y'all had never really seen or understood that apex pattern, right? For some of y'all, was this the first time y'all really saw that or really looked at it? Yeah. Guess what? Apex Elite Pattern version 2. You see that? That's the indicator. Got it? Guess what? What does that say right there? Alerts for a potential E. Hey, there might be an E coming up. Audio enabled. True or false? Yes. Confirmed E. Audio enable. True or false? You've got audio alerts. for a potential upcoming E and a confirmed actual E. You've got audio alerts on all the order prints, important stuff. You've got audio alerts on these E's. You've got audio alerts on trend catcher. The oscillator that I'm going to give you on Monday has audio alerts for double tops and double bottoms. You got power plays, you've got C's, you've got E's, you've got order prints, you've got more stuff coming tomorrow. Everything's got audio alerts. This is the end of the discussion about I don't have enough trades. Can we agree to that? And realizing I'm not being a jerk or being cocky about that? Like, can we agree that this is the end of discussion of I don't have enough trades? Because I got more than enough trades and I can just have more markets. No more complaint that I don't have enough trades. I need to focus on the right trades, taking the best of the best, and being profitable. Can we agree to that? Michael says, do we have audio alerts for power play? Well, Michael, the power plays is not an indicator. The power plays are a setup that require 4 different rules. So it's not an indicator that has an audio alert. But one of the 4 rules to a power play is that it has a cluster, which is on order prints, on our order prints indicator. And there is audio alerts for clusters. So in a sense, no, there's not audio alerts for power play because there's multiple rules. But one of those rules is a cluster. So in a sense, yeah, you can just, and I teach that in the power play course. Do you want a mechanical way to trade power plays and not get confused? What do? You have charts up, you have audio alerts on for clusters. Ding, ding, you get a cluster alert. You pull up that chart. What's the first thing you do? Guys, someone tell me. Cluster alert on a chart. I pull up the chart, and what's the first thing I'm looking for? Check the environment. Ivan, man, that's 3 gold stars for you. What is the market condition? Is it chopping? Is it super trending, strong trending, or is it semi-trending? I figure out the market type, boom, that nails down which power plays I'm looking at. From then, am I at a level? And what is VAD doing? That's it. That's it. How many markets can I have up to check that? Quite a few. And between those, I'm looking for elevators, I'm looking for slingshots, maybe checking out some Apex E's. And then tomorrow, I'll learn how to look for some power P's, some power X's. All right, quick little sneak peek, and then you're going to go. Because I've kept y'all way too long. Okay? What do we know? What do we know that P means? Pivot and then maybe a potential entry. We've already said it. What if that P has a mini magnet right there? What if that P happened and it bounced off of a deviation level? What if this red line was a deviation level and that market bounced right off that level, made a P, left a mini magnet, had a cluster, had a double bolt, had leading volume, had what, do I need to say more? Yeah. Power P. Make sense? Yeah? That's the kind of stuff we're going to talk about tomorrow for 4 potential setups to look at. Okay? Of power P's and power, look at this sling. Or look at slings that are breaking a swing level. And not only does it have a sling, but that sling leaves a mini magnet, has a cluster, and has a bolt or something. I can take the regular slings or elevators, or I could take the power slings and elevators. Or maybe I do double contracts on the power ones and single ones on the regular. There's so many different things. Be here tomorrow. More to come. Okay? But once again, we all agree. The I don't have enough trades conversation, complaint, whining is done. Yeah? All agree? Sign the dotted line? Okay. I'm giving you the extra trades you're asking for, but after this, we're totally focused on taking the good ones, taking the right ones, reading the markets, jumping into order prints. No more. You're good. Open another chart. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for sticking around so long. We went 2 hours here. I did not intend to do that, but you know where the C's training course is. You know where the C's forum section is. If you want to jump into that, you go in and you check it out. Okay? Go and watch that. And I'll get the recording up. Be with us tomorrow. We'll cover 4 more. Okay? All right, guys. Thank you so much. Y'all have a great one. And we will see you tomorrow for the webinar. And we better see you in that elite trade room. It's the best place you can be. Hop in there, guys. Thanks so much. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night. Thank you. All right. Bye.